So right now, man, Blackpool Combat Club, I mean, it's like a dream team, right? I mean, it's got to be surreal for you being in the mix with these three guys right now who are just kind of legends in the business. Of the three, who do you think is the hardest to please in Blackpool Combat Club?
Ooh, I think it's got to be Regal, just because obviously all of them have had just such great experiences throughout wrestling, but Regal has seen everything and has done everything, and he has been everywhere. So it's really hard to impress a guy who has literally done it all, seen it all in wrestling. Like he is from wrestling in England to on like holiday camps to wrestling on TV in England, then to going to doing tournaments in Germany where he's wrestling in front of the same crowd for 3 weeks in a row every night in the same town, stuff like that. Just experiences that we haven't had. He went to WCW, obviously spent a long time in WWE. He's really been everywhere and done everything as a wrestler, as a trainer. So to try to impress a guy like that is very difficult, but it's something I've been striving to do as much as I can.
How is it after a match is over, right? Even like on Wednesday night when you guys were just so dominant and vicious, right? And picked up that 6-man victory. Is it celebratory, or is it like we're going to sit you down for an hour and break down everything you did right and wrong and make this a very intense process for you? How is that?
It's a bit of both. It's definitely when you first come back, it's celebratory, but then there's always someone always notices something that you can change, something you can dial in a little bit more. Maybe like my grip was a little bit wrong on a headlock, something to just dig that bone into the side of your face, something that I never really thought of before. Just there's always these little minute details that they find. So it's celebratory when we win, but other than that, it's immediately, all right, well, how do we win the next match? How do we keep moving forward? So there's always these little small details that I didn't think of that someone points out for me. So it's been really helpful so far.
Do you feel spoiled right now, having access to all these minds and getting to work
Oh,
alongside them, Wheeler?
so spoiled. It's unreal. I'm a 25-year-old kid who has somehow lucked into being with three of the best wrestlers of all time. So it's really it's just an incredible experience for me to be
So
a
when did
part
you
of.
find out this was even going to be a possibility? Like, what was your reaction when this like ridiculous, like super stable faction gets pitched to you and like you might get to be a part of it?
I it all just kind of started happening around me before I ever really found out much of anything. Like even the Danielson match I found out on the day of, the Moxley match I found out on the day of. So like it was a lot of, I had these ideas in the back of my head, like what if this happens? But I was never really explicitly told like, all right, this is what's happening. So I was always
Huh.
just I had things in the back of my head. I was getting ready like, all right, well, if this happens, how would I approach a match with Danielson? How would I approach a match with Moxley again? But there's never anything definitive until right before it happened, really. So that was always I had things in the back of my mind, but I was never 100% sure.
Were you confident that you were going to get the handshake from Regal after the Moxley match, or was that something you felt was kind of still up in the air walking into it?
I think it really depended on my performance.
Wow.
I really do think it did. And everything obviously worked out, and I think I did as well as I could in that match. I think it was the best match I've had, but that was one where I was like, I really hope that I legitimately really hope that I can make that these guys trust me and that they're proud of me and that they think that I can do this moving forward. So I think I pulled that off.
Well, trial by fire, man. They beat the piss out of you and bloodied you and really
Yeah.
made you earn your stripes to get into this thing. I've
Mhm.
heard from some fans as of late, with AEW's current in-ring action that it's pretty violent, right? It seems to be ramping
Mhm.
up as weeks go on. What's your response to fans who maybe don't like how incredibly physical or violent some of the AEW action has gotten as of late?
I think that AEW is a place where we can really provide something for everyone. I think that there's those little niches of different types of wrestling, and I think that because this sort of escalating violence hasn't happened on TV in such a long time, I think that that's something that we've done a little bit in AEW. But I think that there's a little bit for everyone. So maybe if that part's not your cup of tea, maybe there's something else you can watch. I specifically remember telling my mom not to watch the John Moxley match, but she watched the rest of the show and she loved it. So maybe there's a bit here and there that that you can kind of pick and choose from. But I think that AEW does a good job of providing something for everyone. So even if that part's not your cup of tea, there's something for you in the show.
Have you seen the photo of you during that match where it looks like you're shooting blood out of your eyeballs like a spitting like poison frog or something like that?
Yeah, that was that came before I figured out the wiping technique. So there was a lot of this going on, just trying to get this blood off of my face. So I think that's where that came from. But yeah, I did see that picture.
Okay.